They dug a pit for you. Now they're trapped in it. You didn't have to fight them. You didn't have to retaliate. You didn't have to return the hate, the slander, the jealousy. You just stayed grounded, kept your peace, walked in integrity, and now they're stuck in the very trap they set for you. That's how divine justice works. That's how spiritual law works. What they meant for evil turned back on them. They thought they were burying you, but what they didn't realize is you were a seed. And while you were growing, they were digging their own grave with every word, every move, every lie. You survived it, and now they're facing the consequences. Some people are so blinded by envy, so driven by ego, that they'll stop at nothing to sabotage what they can't control. You were minding your business, walking in your light, but your success offended them. Your peace triggered them. Your confidence shook their insecurity. So they plotted, they whispered, they gathered others. They dug a pit and hoped you'd fall in it. But here's the thing, they underestimated your protection. They underestimated the covering on your life. They forgot that when someone is chosen, you can't curse what's already blessed. They thought their tactics would destroy you, but all they did was strengthen you. And now, that same pit they crafted in secret has become their prison. You didn't have to clap back. You didn't have to expose them. You didn't have to prove yourself to anybody. You just kept moving forward. And that's what crushed them the most. Your silence, your resilience, your ability to keep rising while they were doing everything they could to pull you down. They were hoping to see you broken, bitter, busted, but instead, you remained unbothered. Instead, you kept showing up. Instead, you kept growing. And now, while you're walking in peace, they're drowning in confusion, trapped in drama, caught in the consequences of their own behavior. They thought they were building a strategy, but they were building a sentence. They thought they were getting away with it, but what they didn't see was that every seed of destruction they sowed was adding weight to the very trap they were designing. And now it's collapsed on them. You didn't have to do a thing. Life handled it. Karma handled it. The law of cause and effect handled it. What they sent out has come back. Not because you wished for it, not because you cursed them, but because that's how this works. You can't operate in deception forever without hitting a wall. You can't plant betrayal and expect to harvest peace. You can't try to trip up someone walking in divine purpose and expect your own path to remain steady. So now they're trapped. Trapped in guilt, trapped in shame, trapped in their own twisted games. And it hurts even more because they can't admit it. They're still performing, still pretending, still smiling like nothing's wrong. But inside, it's chaos. It's frustration. It's fear. Because they know, deep down, they know they did wrong. They went too far. They tried to destroy someone who meant them no harm. And now the pit is deep, and the rope they used to tie you up is now tangled around them. What's wild is they didn't just dig that pit for you. This is what they do. You weren't the first. You probably won't be the last. But you were the one who didn't fall. You were the one who stood your ground. You were the one who refused to match their darkness. And that's why the outcome is different. That's why they're shocked. That's why they're scrambling now. Because what they expected to work didn't. What they thought would destroy you only elevated you. And now they're stuck, caught in lies they can't maintain. Surrounded by broken bridges they burned on the way up. Isolated by the very energy they once used to manipulate others. You don't have to watch them suffer. You don't have to keep tabs. You don't have to celebrate their downfall. You just stay in your light. Stay in your truth. Stay in your lane. Because their fall isn't your reward. It's their revelation. It's what happens when people choose to tear others down instead of doing the inner work. It's what happens when someone weaponizes energy against someone who's protected. You didn't curse them. Their own choices did. You didn't have to return fire. Their own fire turned back on them. And now, while they're trying to figure out how to get you out, you've already moved on. You've already grown. You've already healed. That's the power of spiritual alignment. You don't chase revenge. You don't seek validation. You just live. You just elevate. And the universe makes sure justice is done. They thought you were alone, but you weren't. You had divine backup. You had spiritual support. You had protection they couldn't see. They mistook your peace for weakness. They mistook your calm for ignorance. But you were never unaware. You were just covered. And while they were busy plotting your fall, they were stepping into their own. It's hard for them now. Every attempt to climb out of that pit feels like a battle. Nothing is flowing. Nothing is easy. They're frustrated, bitter, lost, and still, some of them refuse to change. Still, some of them blame everyone but themselves. But others are starting to wake up. They're realizing the damage. They're realizing the loss. They're realizing that maybe the pit wasn't meant for someone else. Maybe it was always meant to be a mirror, a place for them to sit and reflect on who they became, a space to face their own darkness. And that's between them and their journey. As for you, you're free. You're rising. You're untouched. What they meant to bury you built you. What they meant to break you shaped you. What they meant for evil was used for good. That's the beauty of divine order. That's the brilliance of spiritual law. You don't have to fight dirty to win. You just have to stay clean. And when you do, the very people who try to pull you down end up caught in their own web, not because you wished it, but because energy never lies, and no pit, no matter how deep, can hold someone who was never meant to fall. And the truth is, while they were focused on trying to bring you down, you were rising silently, steadily, spiritually. You didn't waste your time trying to prove yourself. You didn't rush to defend yourself. You didn't fight fire with fire. You didn't allow the fire to reveal. And that's why you're shining now. That's why your peace is louder than their noise. That's why they're uncomfortable, because they couldn't stop you. And now, as they sit in the very hole they dug for you, they have no choice but to look inward. That's the hardest part for them. Not the punishment itself, but the realization that they did it to themselves. That everything they're facing now is a reflection of who they became. That every trap they set was a test they failed. And that every bit of darkness they projected is now showing up in their own life. They may not call it karma. They may not believe in energy. They may pretend they don't understand what's happening. But deep down, they know. They're losing relationships. They're losing trust. They're losing the false control they once had. The people they manipulated are seeing through them. The fake image they built is crumbling. And all the energy they wasted on hurting others, on hurting you, is now circling back. They never imagined they'd be there. But that's what happens when you lead with malice and mask it with charm. That's what happens when you dig pits instead of building bridges. Eventually, everything you buried comes back up, louder, stronger, and undeniable. But let's talk about you, because this moment is not just about what happened to them. It's about how you've evolved. You see, while they were plotting your fall, you were learning how to fly. You were growing in wisdom. You were strengthening your boundaries. You were finding your voice. You were discovering your true worth. And now, you're not even the same person they've targeted. You've outgrown the trap. You've outgrown the old energy. You've outgrown the version of you who tolerated their chaos. And that's why you're untouchable. There's a level of grace on your life now, a level of power, a level of calm. You're no longer reacting to every insult, every betrayal, every false narrative. You've matured beyond the noise. You've risen above the drama. You know who you are now, and that's unshakable self-awareness. That unshakable self-awareness is the biggest threat to those who tried to control you. Because when someone is secure in their identity, manipulation loses all power. Lies fall flat. Traps don't work. And envy becomes obvious. So don't look back. Don't worry about who's talking. Don't try to explain your growth to those committed to misunderstanding it. The pit they dug is still behind you. You've got new ground to cover. You've got new blessings to receive. You've got new light to shine. This chapter is about expansion, elevation, advancement, not revenge. You've already won just by surviving, just by healing, just by not letting the bitterness consume you. That's your victory. Now you get to move differently. You get to walk into rooms with authority. You get to love without fear. You get to give without depletion. You get to live without constantly looking over your shoulder. Because you know, whatever is sent against you will either dissolve or return to sender. That's not arrogance. That's alignment. That's knowing you are protected. That's knowing you are chosen. That's knowing that the Most High does not play about you. And while they're trapped in confusion, you're walking in clarity. While they're weighed down by guilt, you're light with purpose. While they're losing, you're learning. While they're stuck, you're soaring. And the best part is, you don't even have to announce it. Your energy speaks for itself. Your peace speaks for itself. Your glow speaks for itself. You're not who you used to be, and you're not going back. Some of them may try to reach out, to explain, to apologize, to reconnect, and that's your decision. But be honest about why they're coming back. Is it growth, or is it guilt? Is it accountability, or is it access? Is it love, or is it loss? Just because they're stuck doesn't mean you have to pull them out, especially if they've made no real change, especially if they're still carrying the same energy. Let your discernment guide you. Let your boundaries protect you. Let your peace be your priority. Because the pit wasn't just a test for them, it was a lesson for you. A lesson in trust, a lesson in alignment, a lesson in elevation. And now that you've passed the test, you get to graduate. You get to advance. You get to attract everything you were blocked from while they were in your space. The new connections, the new opportunities, the new joy. It's all available now because the pit is behind you and your path is clear. Keep rising, keep shining, keep showing up as your higher self. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to retaliate. You don't need to rehearse the pain. Let them sit with what they've done. Let them face the mirror. Let them deal with the consequences of their choices. That's not your weight to carry. That's not your energy to manage. You have your own assignment, your own peace, your own purpose. And it's too big to be distracted by people who dug pits instead of planting seeds. Let this be your reminder. Protection is real. Favor is real. Energy is real. And justice, even if delayed, is inevitable. So trust the process. Rest in your peace and walk boldly into your next season. Because they dug a pit for you, but you were never meant to fall. You were meant to rise. And now you are. As you give the video a thumbs up, everybody give the video a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm. I'm here just chilling in nature. It's so calm, so peaceful here in nature. And I am sending you good vibes. I am sending you all of this love, light, and positive energy. Big up yourself, every subscriber, every member. You are valued and you are appreciated. I look forward to hearing from you, to reading your comments. Thank you for the love, for your support, for the donations. Yes, yes, yes. My name is Mantius. This is the Advancing Channel. One love, God bless, and all the best.